Since the beginning, many fans who have gotten into Dragon Ball have gotten into Dragon Ball in one of many different ways. Some people have preferred watching the original Japanese sub, while others have watched the Funimation dub, Spanish dub, Italian dub, Ocean dub. Many people have gotten into Dragon Ball and watching it in their own unique way and having a preference as to what they prefer to watch. And here today I am here to share a very special interview with a person that has touched the lives of many people all throughout the years, a very familiar voice that you may recognize and enjoy, as right now we are going to be presenting our very first interview on the channel with none other than a legend. Since the beginning, Dragon Ball had introduced us to many wonderful characters throughout the decades, but none more impactful than Goku and Gohan, as both characters were, and still are, influential to millions around the world, as is one of the original voice actresses in Dragon Ball, as right now, I am honored to welcome a legend on the channel, here to speak to us about her work and passion for Dragon Ball. She is the voice of Kid Goku in Dragon Ball, Gohan, Baby Trunks, East Kai, and West Kai in Dragon Ball Z, and Kid Goku and Goku Jr. in Dragon Ball GT, starring in over 15 Dragon Ball movies from Path to Power to BoJack Unbound, Cooler's Revenge, and Broly the Legendary Super Saiyan, the multi-talented and wonderful Stephanie Nadolny. It's an honor to have you here with us. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome! Hi fans! Whoever's gonna see this, hello!
First and foremost, Stephanie, I do want to say thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for giving us your time in speaking to you and gaining a better understanding as to how you came up with Dragon Ball, something that a lot of us are very passionate for and have a deep connection to on both a professional and personal level, as many different people got into Dragon Ball in so many different ways, in which I am definitely one of those that came across Dragon Ball in a very unique way. I came across Dragon Ball Z actually by accident on Cartoon Network at the time, where the first battle I was introduced to was Goku and Frieza, which later introduced me to the character of Gohan, and later Kid Goku in the original Dragon Ball series. Now, when I was younger, the highlight for Gohan, or at least for the Gohan character to me, was Gohan's battle against Cell, which to many, still to this day, is one of their favorite moments and battles of all time. So what I wanted to ask you is, what made you want to get into voice acting, and what was the process behind that, in the sense to where, how did you discover and get involved with the Dragon Ball property, and what was it that allowed you to gravitate towards the Dragon Ball franchise that made you invest in the property and working for them for many years?
Well, actually, honestly, I'm a singer, first and foremost, and I was traveling with a show band back from 1991. I think I'd just gotten out of high school. I met some of the right people to get me into the industry. I was not really familiar much with, well, I definitely wasn't familiar with anime. I became more into it as I went through the process of doing all the, the episodes and things like that. But I actually had been doing some basic voiceovers for Chuck E. Cheese Pizza and for kids. And I met the producer at one of the sessions. He had actually, his name's Barry Watson. He actually brought the whole project down from Vancouver, Canada to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And at that point in time, he was ready to start scheduling auditions. And so honestly, it was kind of like who you know in this particular situation. And it's just great, because I'm like, well, who is this, and I learned so much about anime and the cons and the fans, and it's just been such a blessing. It is so, I've been doing voices since I was a little girl, like just for fun, just like I'd have my own little voiceover show with, characters and things like that. And I had no idea I could actually have a career and make something of that experience. And so yeah, I've come from way back when you carry around a little cassette player and a little Sony Walkman. you know, but I'm only 29.
I can definitely understand how different that era was in comparison to the era that we have today. Most people don't even know what a VCR is, so I can definitely understand that. But what I wanted to ask you is, what was it like working for Funimation during that time, being that things do end up changing, technology changes, production changes, and being that things are much more different in the modern era than how it was back then? What did you find about working with Funimation back then that helped you out the most, or at least allowed you to have a more comfortable feeling going into recording sessions? And how different was it recording back then in comparison to now? And when looking back on it, how was it like working with Barry and having to bring over your voiceover work in working for Funimation?
Well, it was definitely like different in the stages of technology. There was a kind of a limit, you know, we had to kind of wait in between lines and wait for those 3 beeps, 1, 2, 3, go.
Right.
You know, that's kind of how we recorded everything. But now it's all digital and different computers and lots of directors and politics, and then they changed location and things like that. So it you know, I was kind of there back, you know, in the old school days when they just had, you know, one booth. We had one recording booth, you know, one set of headphones, one script, one music stand. You know, it was just kind of, that's just kind of the way it went. But that was like a long time ago. I mean, that was early 1999. So yeah, I mean, it's changed quite a bit. It's changed quite a bit. But that's a good thing, you know. Update everything.
Now, speaking of, you know, the evolutionary process of just technology itself, what I wanted to ask you is, how different was the experience from going from voicing Goku in Dragon Ball to later voicing Gohan in Dragon Ball Z, and which one of the two did you find yourself enjoying and gravitating towards the most as a character while recording?
Wow, you know what's funny is we actually recorded when I was cast as Gohan in Dragon Ball Z first, and then we went back and then we did Dragon Ball, and then we picked up the property and the company, you know, did their thing. And so I started out as Gohan, kind of in the middle of this Frieza saga, you know, so 53 or something. And it was like, I remember being like, what do you want from me? You know, like, I wanted to please the director so bad. And I just wanted to understand anime and the property and all of the different, you know, voiceover people. And the cool thing was, is I got, you know, cast as Gohan, Kid Gohan, and then we took it through the teen saga, and then we picked up Dragon Ball, and then I was hired to do Kid Goku. The cool thing is I didn't have to necessarily audition for that role, because I had done so much of the Gohan character. They were like, well, you know, the Funimation directors were like, you know what, they're going to sound alike, you know, they should sound alike. He's a father and a son. So then I picked up the property of, you know, Dragon Ball being voiced, you know, Kid Gohan. And then later on, Dragon Ball GT came along. And he, you know, Goku gets turned back into a child. So then I get back into the Kid Goku thing. So it was really, yeah, it was kind of like, just, I don't know, just a different experience, you know, working with something a little bit newer, you know, this little sharper images and just different things like that, you know. So yeah.
Without a doubt, I definitely feel like a lot of people did enjoy your teen Gohan work, I think, the most, whereas a lot of the OGs and a lot of the original fans also do appreciate and really love your Kid Goku work as well, in both Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball GT. Now, what would you say were some of the most intense and grueling recording sessions that you've experienced while working at Funimation? Was there ever anything that really made you take a step back just to catch your breath, or anything that pushed you over your limits in testing your voice as a performer?
The Teen Gohan stages with the Cell Saga was definitely the most trying, definitely the most grueling on the voice. Thankfully, I'm a singer, and I was you know, already traveling with this show band, and I was using my voice all the time, and so I had their, you know, this stamina that I didn't even know I had it, to be honest, but I was able to use that and channel that by working as a singer on the weekends, you know, in parties and weddings and, you know, clubs and traveling. And, you know, I was in my 20s, you know, I was just a kid, you know, I was having fun. I was, you know, very thankful and blessed. And I mean, I'm just now realizing how popular the show really is. Like, I mean, it's very humbling, you know, to see and hear the fans talk about the show and express their interest in the prince and the different, you know, variables. And so, and the conventions are amazing because I get to meet the fans face to face.
Right, you're gonna be there at Kamei-Con this year.
I'll be at Kamei-Con, Irving, Texas, like I told you, right by the airport.
Right by the airport. So, not many people know about this, but you've actually auditioned for Frieza in Dragon Ball Z, and being that you were mainly casted as the hero of the Dragon Ball story, have you ever considered what it would have been like to voice a villainous character in Dragon Ball, or as a preference, would you rather agree to being the protagonist of the story instead?
Well, I'm kind of a softie, so I'm gonna have to be honest. I want to, you know, be the hero, the little boy hero. So I definitely embraced that whole little Goku innocence and was really excited about getting cast. And there's the Nimbus Cloud, and he's got his little tail, and he's flying around and just being innocent, you know, just being like a little kid. I really embraced that. But yeah, I did. I actually auditioned for Poir and Bulma early on. But the directors that were there at the time really wanted to hear like a little boy voice. And they wanted, she can do this, you know, because Saffron Henderson did the voice of Kid Gohan in Canada. And then there's, gosh, I can't say her name, but the Dragon Ball Z Japanese voice actress that did Goku, Gohan, and Goten.
Oh, Masako Nozawa.
That's it. Look at you. Listen to you. You're like you got it down.
Thank you.
And then, but then the Baby Trunks came along, and then Kai, and then some of these little side roles, which was really cool. Like I said, we only had one studio at the time, one booth, so we were able to thankfully voice more than one or two roles. I mean, Kara Edwards voiced Videl and Goten. You know, that's a couple voices. So
what was it like voicing a male character in the show? Being that, were there any expectations that needed to be met for you to, you know, sound a certain way? Like, what was the process trying to portray, you know, male figures in a show, and what were like the expectation levels of, like, you know, the criteria that needed to be met in order for the character to sound exactly what the producers wanted it to sound like?
Well, the producers that directed me wanted Gohan to just sound raspy. They wanted him to sound like a little kind of gruff kid.
Right.
Some of the fans like it, some of them don't. Goku was a little higher in the voice. The delivery was a little different with little Goku in Dragon Ball, and Dragon Ball GT.
Yeah.
But and then Teen Gohan came around with the Cell Saga, you know, and so it was like the directors were like, sound like the most you can like a Clint Eastwood type character.
Right. Yes.
And so and like I said, thankfully at the time I was singing a lot, I was working a lot on the weekends, and I was able to kind of keep up that stamina and then kind of recoup myself after drinking a lot of water and sleeping and getting rest.
Yes.
And then starting back over. So some weeks I was there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Some weeks I was there Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We went months without recording because my character wasn't necessary,
right.
Until they were ready to record it. So, but yeah, I really, I mean, I like them both. I mean, I like all the characters,
right,
obviously, and I love the fans. But I embraced little Goku because he was just so cute and innocent and funny. Yes. He was so cute and funny, and he would just drop his pants and pee in the river, and you know, he was looking for Bulma's Dragon Balls, and she didn't have any, and you know, it was just
a very simple story from back in the day, especially, you know, in comparison to what we have now. So like the innocence, the child innocence and the portrayal of Son Goku back during that time, it's a lot different than what's being portrayed now. So I can see exactly like what you mean in terms of like, you know, having the character display more of his naiveness and just coming across more like a child. Yeah, but I mean, with that being said, you've been involved in many Dragon Ball movies before, and many people in the Dragon Ball community, including myself, would love to know, which movie was your favorite to work on and why?
Ooh, Path of Power, hands down.
Path of Power, why is that?
You know what? It was just fun voicing Goku, and like I told you, all of the things that encompass his character. You know, he made buddies with a friend, and then he was over here doing this and doing that, and he was, you know, training, you know, to be like the best he could be, and he was humble and sweet, innocent, and I've always wanted a child, and I don't have a child, and I'm getting closer to where I probably can't have one because I'm getting older. So I was able.
Oh, you're not old. Stop.
Well, but I'm just saying, like I was able to embrace the character being a little boy,
right,
and being a child. I mean, I moved around a lot, you know, like you said, the bullying and all that, you know, that was all definitely going on. So I was able to really embrace that character and hopefully make him come alive and do some cool things with the voice. So, but I've been doing voices since I was a little girl. I used to carry around a little cassette player when I was real little. And I would like make these little shows, and I would change all my voices, and I didn't realize that there was a career out there for me someday, you know?
Absolutely.
And that's this career, and it's so cool, and meeting the fans is the best part of what I do, and doing the conventions, and making appearances, signing autographs. It's just so humbling and just so awesomeness.
Oh, absolutely. And I can imagine what it was like, especially in the mid to late 90s when Dragon Ball really started to take off, especially in the West. Gohan was revered, and to many till this day being revered as one of the, you know, highlights of the show, one of their favorite characters. In fact, one of my friends, Emish, he loves Teen Gohan. He loves, you know, your original work in the original Dragon Ball Z dub, and, you know, till this day, a lot of people also, including myself, love the portrayal of Kid Goku, especially GT Goku from Dragon Ball GT and Teen Gohan. Now, having to, you know, work with so many of the wonderful voice actors and actresses who are also a part of Dragon Ball, and many still are, if you can share with us the experience of what it was like, you know, working on Dragon Ball with them, and if you can recall one funny story that you had on set, what would that story be?
Oh, I already know. Well, one of the things I loved was when little Kid Goku was little, and he was hanging out with Master Roshi and training with Master Roshi, and he was always eating and stuff. Like, he was always hungry and eating, and they'd be out to eat, and he's ready. Oh, I'm ready for dessert, and it's like, you know, plate number 17 or whatever. And him cleaning out Master Roshi's, you know, refrigerator.
Yeah.
And then I did a couple of small roles. There was an aerobics instructor on Master Roshi's TV, and then there was Andrea. Was it Andrea? I'm trying to think of. She was Teen Gohan's first girlfriend, which I think is funny because it's like I dated myself, but not really.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I dated myself. That's kind of cool. And, you know, fess up, you wear teddy bear underwear. You know, and she was just crazy. And then another funny moment that I remember is when he's outside of the bathroom, and Master Roshi had just been in the bathroom, and Goku's like, "You're stinky," you know, and he's just so innocent. And then there was another one where Goku, I say but it wasn't really me, but Goku little Goku is running and he's running and he's running, and then all of a sudden he jumps in the water, like, and for some reason I was watching the screen, and then he dives into the water, right? And so I'm like, and the director was like, did you just make the voice of Goku jumping into the water? And I said, yes. Sorry. It was just funny, and then there was this whole, like, he was the whole Yajirobe and little baby Krillin, or say baby Krillin, he's little Krillin.
Right.
This, and mostly the reactions.
Right.
This is what, I really embraced the reactions. In fact, I was actually dubbed the reactress when I was new. Like, the first year, I was like, they're like, she can do all these different. Okay, I'm excited and awe, shock and awe. There were all these, directions, and I was dubbed the reactress. So that was really, like, I loved that. I thought that was really cool. Because, I mean, like, you want to move through it. Yeah. You want to be efficient. I mean, you get paid by the hour. We got paid by the hour, but it didn't matter. I mean, I didn't want to. I mean, I wanted to do a good job. So
of course.
I focused on each of the lines one at a time, and then that's kind of my story. But the team was definitely the biggest deal. Like that, I've noticed just from doing convention appearances and different things that the fans seem to like that role and that depiction of Teen Gohan the most out of everything I've done. So
now the difference between Kid Goku from Dragon Ball to Kid Goku in Dragon Ball GT, did you notice anything that you had to do differently in order to portray Goku differently from the time when he was a kid in Dragon Ball to GT? And if so, like, did you have anything in mind to shift the character in terms of like the way he sounded, his attitude in comparison to how he was in Dragon Ball?
Like I said, the Gohan that they wanted was a raspy Gohan. They wanted like a little, like kind of a little grovelly. Is that a word? I don't know if grovelly is a word.
Grovelly, okay, we can take it.
The grovelly, that's how I was directed. Like, I mean, some of the fans love it, and some of the fans are like, she's too raspy. She sounds like a smoker, But I was just doing what I was told,
Right.
Hey, we're going to be more raspy. Okay, so we'll be raspy. But Goku was a lot easier on my voice, on my throat, because it was higher pitched. And I, being female, just higher pitched naturally.
Right.
But the Teen Gohan being, what that was, I mean, that was like, okay, that's some of my best work.
And especially it's taking a toll on your voice as well, because during that time, I would imagine the scenes and the intensity was much more than how we saw in the original Dragon Ball show. But what was the experience like working on Dragon Ball GT, being that Kid Goku had more of a involvement in having to be a bit more aggressive, showcasing him having to, have various different battles against Baby and 17, seeing the influence of the character itself. What were some of your favorite moments voicing Kid Goku during that time in Dragon Ball GT?
I liked how he would go to the doctor and he would like scream out, "I hate shots!" And he didn't want to get a shot.
Right, because he hated needles. Yeah.
The needles, yeah. And the animation was so much more, it was more clear and defined and kind of more of a spaceship type, Battlestar Galactica type.
Right, Star Wars, yeah.
Definitely, more defined as far as the animation goes, and there was definitely a lot of, different interaction with him being changed back into a kid. But it was like such a blessing that to be like, oh wow, I get to come back and do more Kid Goku. This is my life. I mean,
absolutely.
This is greatness. I mean, so yeah, I was just like excited because they took on the property and we tackled it, and hopefully the fans will embrace it. I know that most of the fans like I said, the Cell Saga and the Dragon Ball, the original dub. But I don't want GT to just get kind of stashed under the bed. It'd be nice if the fans kind of, or at least open to that.
Oh, absolutely. I do agree. I think that GT is often overlooked for its direction, but a lot of fans do appreciate the property and the way the series was portrayed. And being that GT is now being looked at as like its own separate canon compared to what we have currently today, and a lot of fans want to know, being that Dragon Ball Super came and went for the time being, of course, having it, take place or take the Dragon Ball story and going off in a completely new direction by introducing new concepts and levels and gods and characters. Are you following and keeping up with the modern Dragon Ball Super product today? And if you are, what are your thoughts on it?
I've heard about it. I heard the movie just came out, Broly movie.
Yeah.
But you know what? I've just been kind of out of the loop, and I've been doing a lot more music and a lot more singing and, taking care of my fur babies and doing some different things. So I'm a little bit unfamiliar with the project. But I know that it's always right there on the computer. I can just jump to YouTube or watch the movie and kind of follow it a little bit that way. I kind of feel like I kind of helped a few others get some roles just by introducing, like, hey, check this girl out or check this out, and kind of help them kind of catapult into this, obvious fame. I mean, it's apparently, like, I just read today, it's like a 7 million, I think.
Yeah, 7 million in the first day, yep.
Yeah, so, I mean, I wish they would do that for the original Dragon Ball dub. I mean, it'd be so fun to come back and do some stuff for the original dub.
I think a lot of people need to, because I feel as if a lot of people skipped over Dragon Ball in not appreciating what Dragon Ball was, and I definitely agree. I would love to see, Dragon Ball have, a revamp in its product, because it helps stem what we have today with Dragon Ball Z, GT, Super, all that stuff. So, especially with the story concept, a lot of people looked at Dragon Ball as being one of the best written stories and having the best written characters during that time. And being that we're just coming off of a movie now, Dragon Ball in and of itself as a product doesn't seem to have any end going, because just when you thought something would be finished or is over, it ultimately continues. So what were your thoughts having to work and voice Goku in GT and having to come across that final chapter when Goku Jr. was there and he's facing off against Vegeta Jr.? Like, what were your thoughts going through your head, being that this was the last time that we were going to see Kid Goku or Goku Jr. potentially during that time, and how did you feel about that?
I don't recall exactly because it's been so many years, but I probably cried.
Right.
I'm such a softie, but yeah, no, I mean, things were just moving and shaking at the time, and I'm happy for the cast, and I hope to see everybody at Comic-Con, and I'm excited about it. So anytime I can appear with people, Linda Young, Cynthia Krantz, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to see, what's out there and sign some autographs and rock it out. So
definitely, and I'm sure a lot of people cannot wait to meet you, because this convention is a Dragon Ball exclusive convention, so having one of the OGs be there for one of the most synonymous characters in the world is a very sensational thing, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be very happy to see you. Now, before we head out, I wanted to list off a few characters in this rapid fire round segment where you tell me the first thing that comes to mind once each character is listed. So are you ready?
Okay, let's try it.
Alright, Goku.
Powerful.
Vegeta.
Can I say badass without getting in trouble?
Sure.
Badass.
Frieza.
Oh, I just love Linda. She's so sweet. Linda Young. I would say Smoker.
Kid Gohan.
But Dad! Can I say that?
Teen Gohan. Yeah, that's fine. Teen Gohan.
This fight cell is meaningless. Kamehameha! Sorry.
Adult Gohan.
Mentor.
Perfect Cell.
Perfect Cell?
Yep.
Mean.
Broly.
Broly. You know, I haven't seen a whole lot of Broly. I would say magnificent.
Baby Trunks.
Cute.
And finally, Kid Goku.
Okay, just one word?
One word.
This is hard. I was gonna say World Martial Arts Tournament. So, tournament!
Tournament, especially Budokai Tournament, is something that I would definitely describe Goku with as well. And I do want to say, Stephanie, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us here today about your love and your passion and your work for Dragon Ball over the years. We are going to be seeing you at Kamehameha 2 2019 this year, so myself and many other fans cannot wait to meet you in person, as many of the fans will have a chance to get to interact and talk with you in person, so make sure you guys head on over to Kamehameha 2 this year. And again, thank you so much, Stephanie, for being here. If there's any other way we can reach you or follow you on in terms of social media, what are your social media platforms and how can we, the fans, stay in touch with you?
Absolutely. There's a website that is on Facebook. It's Stephanie Nadolny Voice Actress. Stephanie Nadolny Voice Actress. And then I've got a special web address for when, let's see, Moonglass is my quartet, my personal show band. And that's Moonglass on Facebook. I've also got a show I'm working on now called The Adventures of Ryan DeFreitas. And that is going to be on the special... What's that one? Special? American Family Network. And that's already been released. I think the first 8 episodes have already been released. Okay, KO. I voiced KO for about 8 episodes in LA a couple of years ago. And then Crimson Files, Crimson. I'm working on a new web series, and I just remember Crimson, but you can do Crimson. And then another really cool website on YouTube is Stephanie Nadolny Winstar, Winstar. It's a snippet video of my show band that worked at the Winstar for the senior breakfast for 4 years, from 2010 to 2014. And that's about all I got right now.
And you guys can find those links located down in the description box below. I do want to say thank you all so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this interview, be sure to go on ahead and slap a like down below. If you guys are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button as well as turning on the bell icon to never miss a single upload. Stephanie, thank you so much for being here.
Can I give you guys just one more thing?
Of course, go ahead. Oh, that was absolutely incredible. Thank you for that.
5 minutes if you need me to.
5 minutes is all we need. 5 minutes is just the right time. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for being here. We really do appreciate everything. Guys, Kamehameha 2 is where you will be able to find Stephanie and hang out with her. Stephanie, thank you so much.
I love my fans. They're the bestest. Thank you, Alex. It's been a pleasure.
No, thank you, and I want to thank you all so much for watching. Tune back for the next video, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.